caught in the crossfire. It's caught in the...
What up, fam? It's your boy T3 coming at you live always in 3D. That's it. Once again, let's do this. Afro Tech Nation, Geek Town, let's get down. You know what we about to do? Episodes 4, 5, and 6. What if? But you know what I got to do first. Now pull up, pony.
I used to be so beautiful, now look at me. My actions are unbeautiful, it's clear to see. Come on and step out of the cage, turn a chapter, turn the page.
What it is, what it does, what it do. It's me, T3, getting down with you. So, now, we have already talked about the first 3 episodes of What If. You know there's 9, so we got to get into the next 3, 4, 5, and 6. Episode 4, what if Tony Stark fought the Grandmaster? Now, if you remember Thor: Love and Thunder, if you remember that little tale that went on. So this is that same planet. You still have the same Grandmaster. You still have the same arena. But this time, instead of we following Thor's story, we follow Tony Stark. What if Tony Stark went into space after taking that rocket from the first movie of the Avengers to stop the Chitauri from actually coming through the portal and attacking Earth? What if he never made it through that portal, but ended up in space, knocked out, and landed eventually on that planet where the Grandmaster lives, where now he has to fight in the arena the same way Thor did, but this time it's NASCAR style. This time it's all wheels on the ground, and Tony Stark got to go back to that cave moment. He's slamming that hammer, and he's putting it down, and he's slapping it all around, and all of a sudden, he's got his car. He's got his machine. You also have the young lady, the Valkyrie, who's there, who does the whole thing that was going on with that. You also come across Gamora, who is hunting down Tony Stark because he stopped the Chitauri and because her father wants to kill Tony Stark himself. So you got these 3 components. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Components kicking in here, but racing and fighting against one another to go against this whole thing. You got your man Quark. He shows back up too, and he's doing his thing. And this time, instead of a Hulk, you have a giant elephant, big monster looking named Fluffy that's coming through. And as always, Tony Stark comes out on top, using, like his car, to turn into a Hulkbuster type machine to fall and fight in this race. Also taking over the planet and taking out the Grandmaster in the end. And once again, Thanos gets killed by Gamora using the scepter staff that the Grandmaster's high guard was using to control all the people. So that was episode 4 of the whole thing. It was kind of cool to see Tony back again. It was nice to have his little banter, saying what he had to say, and really coming through with all these things. All right. Now, then we have episode 5. Yes. What if Captain Carter had fought the Hydro Stomper? Well, the Hydro Stomper, let's go back a little bit. So you got to go to the Winter Soldier. If you remember Captain America and the Winter Soldier, when that whole piece, well, they took that particular episode, and instead of using Captain America, they used Captain Carter. And instead of Captain America finding Bucky, she's finding Steve Rogers in the Hydro Stomper suit and the machine that he was in. Well, and just like Bucky, he was brainwashed. He was used over the course of the years. He was made to live and assassinate all things that they wanted to take care of or knock out or what they felt was a threat. He could not be removed from the suit, because if he were removed from the suit, he would die. That was the only thing keeping him young and in stasis. And in this time, it was the Red Room that did all the brainwashing. And if you know who the Red Room is, those are the same people that trained, brainwashed, and did all the things with the Black Widows, with Black Widows, and their whole piece of why they're the top assassins in the world. This is another air base up in the sky. not particularly connected to Hydra, which was kind of interesting that they took him after he had already knocked out a lot of the Red Skull's army over the courses of the fight after Captain Carter was disappeared. But they used him for their own personal use. Instead of bringing in a Black Widow, they brought in an own Hydra weapon to do their bidding. That was like their big dog, their ace in the hole, this and so forth. Well, this time, Captain Carter had to fight her friend the same way Steve Rogers, Captain America, had to fight Bucky. And this time, Black Widow was her sidekick Banter, and as they was in this small town, taking on all the Black Widows during this particular fighting scene, which was very interesting to see. It was good to see Captain Carter out there doing her thing. She's a lovesick puppy like all the rest of us. We all just want love, but her love comes at a cost. It comes at a price. It comes at the lives of the millions of people that's out there. And when she finally gets through to Steve Rogers, he has to go up and destroy himself and the Red Room because he knows his brainwashing is well past anything that she's able to do. Well, with that, you had a surprise ending, your first surprise ending of the series, where Scarlet Witch actually drops Captain Carter through a portal and takes her back to the old ages, to the, I wouldn't say the golden ages, I guess the night ages, as you could say, the days of Robin Hood, the days of Arthur and his people. And then that's where they end that. But that is a piece leading up to what's coming up. Okay, now, then you have episode 6, which is what if Kahara changed the shape of the world. This is the new person being added to our universe. Just the way we added Captain Carter, because Captain Carter is technically a new version, a new person added by What If. This is a new version added by What If now. And as we've seen in the past, if you show up in What If, eventually you show up in the live action. So I'm interested to see how she comes about and how they bring her on. If this is going to be a Secret Wars kind of a girl, especially with the things going on. Spoiler alert, because we haven't talked about it yet, but we will with Doctor Strange. Okay, so this is a Native American. I want to say it was the Mohawks. I want to believe that they put out there with the name of this particular tribe. Well, this was during the time and when the Spanish are looking, or Spain is looking for the Fountain of Youth. So we kind of know the demographic and area that they're in. And these tribal people are just doing their thing. They're trying to live their life. They're trying to eat their food. They're trying to grow their crops. They're trying to raise their children. They ain't bothering nobody. But of course, someone always got to come and just mess up the party. Well, what if one girl who did not listen to the laws of the land, and because the Tesseract, this time, instead of being destroyed and sucked through the portal, actually falls to an alternate Earth and lands into the water, she goes into this water with her little brother and ends up getting sucked through that portal and getting powers in an alternate land. And she is gaining powers from the Tesseract, from an Infinity Stone. Let's remember, the Tesseract is an Infinity Stone, which makes sense of why when she gets these powers, they are everlasting. Okay, so she lives in this new world and all the rest of this stuff and learns to use her powers, while her people in her other reality world are being slain and beaten and taken into slavery by Spain, by the folks that's coming in, because they think they found the Fountain of Youth, and then they found out that that was not the Fountain of Youth at all. There was actually another universe. But they didn't live long enough to find out about their powers, because the group of Indian people that had disappeared over the course of the years was living on this side of the alternate Earth. Well, she decides that she is not going to sit here and live in harmony while her people are fighting in oppression. Ooh, that was a fiery statement right there. I'm just trying to tell you. Just saying. But she comes back with her powers and levels the conquistadors, levels those that try to take over her people. And not only that, she goes back to Spain and defeats the queen and tells her, you come over here again, I'll break your back. You know what I'm saying? I'm 8 years old. I'll do what I want. You ain't gonna run up on my people like that. So with that being said, a new portal opens up and Doctor Strange shows up. But this is not just the regular Doctor Strange. This is the Doctor Strange that we met at the end of season 1 of What If, as he was holding on. Remember, he was keeping contained the Ultron and the Killmonger power-up levels of each other to make sure that they didn't destroy the universe, and he was keeping them contained. He was the watcher per se, and holding things together. Well, that Doctor Strange shows up and says, woo, peace in a record amount of time. Let's see how long that lasts. And that's where that ends on that. So those are the next 3 episodes of What If, what they were about, what went down all around. I'm just trying to tell you, I feel like I'm talking a mile a minute, but I don't care. That's my derriere. It's how I get down, people. It's what we do. It's the energy levels that we get down with, because it's Afro Tuck Nation, baby. Let's ride with it. Yo, so for Geek Town, Afro Tuck Nation, you know what we do. If you see your mans in the streets, hit them with the beats and hit them with a jingle jangle, baby. Jingle jangle.